From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the daily news for February 16th, 2026. These are the stories we are covering at this hour. A top European official on Sunday rejected the notion that Europe faces civilizational erasure, pushing back at criticism of the continent by the Trump administration. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas addressed the Munich Security Conference a day after U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio offered a somewhat reassuring message to European allies. He struck a less aggressive tone than Vice President J.D. Vance did in lecturing them at the same gathering last year, but maintained a firm tone on Washington's intent to reshape the transatlantic alliance and push its policy priorities. Kallas alluded to criticism in the U.S. national security strategy released in December, which asserted that economic stagnation in Europe is eclipsed by the real and more stark prospect of civilizational erasure. It suggested that Europe is being enfeebled by its immigration policies, declining birth rates, censorship of free speech and suppression of political opposition, and a loss of national identities and self-confidence. From that same conference, Hillary Clinton unleashed on a fellow panelist at the Munich Security Conference in Germany on Saturday after he mocked her for railing against President Donald Trump. Things got heated between the one-time Secretary of State and Czech douchebag Petr Michalka after she accused Trump of having betrayed human values, the NATO alliance, and the entirety of the West, while aspiring to Russian President Vladimir Putin's model of unaccountable power. Michalka, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, joked, "I think you don't really like him," earning a grim grin from the thoroughly unamused Clinton. Though Michalka's quip elicited quite a few laughs from the audience, the former Democratic presidential candidate didn't seem to find it funny. "This is absolutely true," she shot back. "Not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and the world. And I think you should take a hard look at it if you think there's something good that will come of that." Coming to Trump's defense, Michalka argued the now two-time president's reactionary tactics were a response to American policies that, quote, went too far from the regular people and too far from reality, end quote, with what he described as cancel culture, climate alarmism, and woke ideology. Wow, those all sound like things that Hitler would have said in the 1930s. Way to go, Michalka. Nazi in chief over in the Czech Republic, are you? Clinton snickered and shook her head as Michalka rattled off a bunch of bullshit, the standard list of right-wing grievances, but she couldn't hold back from interrupting him when he took a shot at the so-called gender revolution. Moving to news here in the United States, the U.S. State Department has ordered certain public libraries nationwide to cease processing passport applications, disrupting a long-standing service that librarians say their communities have come to rely on and that has run smoothly for years. The agency which regulates U.S. passports began issuing cease and desist orders to not-for-profit libraries in late fall, informing them they were no longer authorized to participate in the passport acceptance facility program as of Friday. "We still get calls daily seeking that service," said Kathleen Special, Executive Director of the Otis Library in Norwich, Connecticut, where passport services were offered for 18 years, but ceased in November after receiving the letter. "Our community was so used to offering this." A State Department spokesperson said the order was given because federal law and regulations clearly prohibit non-governmental organizations from collecting and retaining fees for a passport application. Government-run libraries are not impacted. And that's the news at this hour. If you are watching our news videos on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.